a bracket. Ever since she's a little kid, built up to that point.
Into the move underneath. 3 coming out of turn 2. That is crazy. 3, this is down to the last turn.
Hailie Deegan was supposed to be NASCAR's next big star, but then she left, and what she said about the sport shocked everyone. Why would someone with her talent walk away at the peak of her career? The real reason might change how you see racing forever. Hailie Deegan loved to move fast and compete. When she was just 8, she started racing go-karts while other kids played with toys. That choice put her on a path not many girls had taken. Her dad, Brian Deegan, was a famous motocross rider and off-road racer, so racing was part of her everyday life. She quickly got into dirt bikes and trucks, and she didn't just race, she won. Growing up in Temecula, California, Hailie had motorsport in her blood. Her father, Brian Deegan, made a name in freestyle motocross, off-road trucks, and rallycross. Racing wasn't some weekend hobby, it was everyday life. She began riding dirt bikes and karts at 8, plunging into off-road racing and short-course trucks. She didn't just participate, she dominated. In 2013, she became the first female driver to win a championship in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series when she won the Junior 2 karts class. By 2016, she earned the Driver of the Year honor, standing out even among veteran off-road competitors. And yet, the asphalt world beckoned. The roar of stock car engines, the high-stakes oval tracks, even though it meant leaving the comfort of dirt and trucks. In 2016, she made the shift, determined to build a career where few young women had succeeded. When Hailie moved into the badge-bearing world of stock cars, everything changed. The cars were different, the lights were brighter, the expectations were heavier. In 2018, she entered the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West with the team Bill McAnally Racing, carrying not only her own ambitions but the legacy of her family's name. And then she made history. On the 29th of September 2018, she won the Napa Auto Parts Idaho 208 at Meridian Speedway, becoming the first female driver ever to win in the K&N Pro Series. It wasn't an easy win. She passed on the final lap, taking advantage of a late spin ahead. She led only 1 lap, but the moment marked a turning point. She didn't just win, she carved a place in history. Yet the win also heightened expectations and scrutiny. As the female driver in a male-dominated sport, her every move was watched. Some cheered, some doubted. For Hailie, the win was proof but also a challenge. Now everyone would ask, can she do it again? After her success in the regional series, Hailie's focus turned to the national stage. In 2021, she entered the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series with David Gilliland Racing, driving the #1 Ford. But the Truck Series is no gentle stepping stone. Close quarters, heavy contact, strategy, and survival all mix in ways that punish mistakes. For Hailie, the aggressive driving style that once helped on dirt had to adapt. She had to learn patience, positioning, how to deal with being roughed up, and how to fight back without losing control. The spotlight was brighter and the pressure immense. She faced not just other competitors, but the subtle currents of a sport still adjusting to a young woman making her mark. Her results showed potential top 10s, developmental gains, but the wins she aimed for still eluded her. She learned fast that talent alone wasn't enough. Opportunity, resources, timing all mattered. By the time the 2024 season ended, the whispers had grown loud. Despite her early promise and undeniable following, Hailie's NASCAR journey was stalling. Sponsors had expectations, teams had budgets, wins matter. And though she had made history, the results weren't coming in the way everyone hoped. It took guts to face the truth. You can have the backing, the name, the following, but racing demands more than dreams. The weight of expectation, the cost of racing, the sacrifices of travel, nights away, constant pressure, they all combined. Hailie had spoken about the grueling nature of the NASCAR schedule, about nights arriving home at 5 in the morning, about barely any time to recover. The toll is real. And so she made the bold decision, not to give up, but to change the game. She would leave the familiar world of NASCAR tracks and step into something different, something riskier, something which promised a new kind of challenge. Because she believed the true test of a racer isn't how you handle the good times, but how you reinvent yourself when the path ahead changes. In 2025, Hailie joined Indy NXT, formerly known as Indy Lights, with HMD Motorsports, a full-on move into open-wheel racing. Open-wheel is a different animal. No windshield, no power steering in many cases, high downforce, precision, minimal room for error. Hailie said herself, "The wind is brutal, the helmet lifting in the straightaways, the input smaller, the sensitivity greater." She described how in stock cars everything feels steady, whereas in open wheel you feel everything. The environment demands total focus. She also embraced the physical side. Whereas NASCAR allows cooling suits and has some driver comforts, Indy NXT demands peak fitness. She said she loved fitness, having built strength in her two-wheeled and off-road background, and now she could bring it fully. The more fit you are, the faster you'll go. That mantra now had new meaning. But open wheel doesn't just test the body, it tests the mind. New tracks, new car dynamics, new data. HMD Motorsports gave her a teammate-rich environment, reams of sensors, telemetry data she'd rarely seen in stock cars. She would have to relearn driving. The move was bold, but that's what she wanted. Hailee's move wasn't just a change, it was a bold step. She could have stayed in NASCAR, but she chose open-wheel racing to challenge herself and grow. The Indy NXT schedule is shorter, giving her more time to train and improve. For someone used to fighting for every inch, this was a chance to reset and aim even higher. Being a woman in racing still matters because bias is real. Hailee's early wins brought attention, but also more pressure. Every mistake was judged harder. She's talked about this, but instead of letting it stop her, she used it as fuel. With a big name, social media spotlight, and the weight of sponsors, racing wasn't just about speed, it was about survival. Changing the series gave her more control. Now she's the one writing the story. Hailee is still young, with many years ahead. She's left the familiar world of NASCAR and is now taking on open-wheel racing. It won't be easy, but she has the talent and support. Her goal is simple: learn fast, get results, and prove she belongs. Her move also sends a bigger message: if one door closes, you can still create your own path. That's exactly what she's doing. For fans and followers, this is the moment to pay attention. Hailee made history once, and now she's chasing something even bigger. Her focus is on open wheel, and she's aiming for the top. The big question is, can she go all the way? Hailee's story began with dirt bikes and karts, moved through the male-dominated world of NASCAR, and now into the fast, demanding world of open-wheel racing. She made bold choices, took risks, and refused to stay comfortable. She left what many drivers would cling to, all because she believed in growing, not settling. When her car hits the track again, it's not just about racing, it's about showing the world who she really is. And for all of us watching, that's the ride worth riding.
Here we go, turn 7, little contact, if any. Van Gisbergen's trying to squeeze, there was definite contact there. You know how much these guys want the win.
Larson's super aggressive right here.
Yep, he's not taking this contact lightly.
Oh my
I don't think he liked the late move into the hairpin.
Shane Van Gisbergen just won again, but what happened during that race left everyone talking. While battling Kyle Larson, fans noticed something different. The racing felt faster, tougher, and more exciting. What changed? It wasn't just the drivers. A quiet switch in tires may have saved the entire season, and now fans want to know, did Goodyear just fix NASCAR without anyone realizing it? The early part of the season exposed a major flaw. The tires simply weren't wearing out fast enough. With minimal fall-off, drivers didn't have to manage their rubber. Long green flag runs saw cars holding pace for far too long. Strategy barely mattered, and races turned into single-lane processions. Even historically exciting tracks like Bristol and Kansas failed to deliver the level of unpredictability fans craved. Analysts, fans, and even veteran drivers pointed to one key issue: the tires. That all began to shift at Bristol. Goodyear brought a softer compound that finally introduced meaningful fall-off. Tire wear came back into the equation, and suddenly, the racing came alive. Drivers had to manage their pace, pick moments to push, and think long-term. Strategy returned to pit road. The result wasn't just better racing, it was chaotic, unpredictable, and thrilling. It was everything NASCAR had been missing. Then came New Hampshire, and the trend continued. At Kansas, strategy exploded into the spotlight. In overtime, Chase Elliott charged from 10th to 1st on fresher tires. It was the kind of late-race drama fans had been starving for. Pit calls mattered, fresh tires were golden. And then came the biggest shift yet, the Charlotte Roval. At the Roval, everything clicked. The tire fall-off was extreme, making every lap a test of control and endurance. Shane Van Gisbergen led 57 laps, took control early, and never let go. His margin of victory? Over 15 seconds ahead of Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell. But it wasn't a blowout, it was a war of tactics. SVG had to fend off constant pressure, especially from Larson. On fresher tires, Van Gisbergen made a bold move into turn 7. He bumped Larson, hoping for space, but instead lit a fuse. "I thought he was going to give me some space," SVG said. Then straight away, switch flipped. He was angry. Swiped at me. It was pretty aggressive from there on. Larson didn't back down. He later said Van Gisbergen had been toying with them all day. Once the contact happened, he made it clear the gloves were off. The two went door to door, rubbing panels and trading paint in one of the most intense on-track battles of the season. The drama wasn't scripted. It was pressure, pride, and playoff desperation coming to a head under real racing conditions. The shift in tire behavior is what made that moment possible. With high fall-off, fresher tires meant real performance gaps. Van Gisbergen had grip, Larson had pride, the combination created fire. For fans, it was everything the season had been lacking, a true fight between elite drivers, amplified by strategy and tire wear. But it wasn't just about SVG and Larson. The entire Roval race showed how different things had become. Lead changes happened organically. Pit strategy flipped the field. Crew chiefs had to gamble. Drivers had to conserve or risk everything. It was no longer just about raw speed. Now, it was about who could balance aggression with control. Ross Chastain's downfall was a cautionary tale. With his playoff life on the line, he made a series of critical errors. He missed the pit exit turn, then got hit with a speeding penalty. Even with fresher tires, he couldn't climb back through the field. The new tire environment magnified every mistake. What might have been a recoverable slip in the old format became fatal under high fall-off conditions. Shane Van Gisbergen's dominance isn't just about speed, it's about adapting. He's now won 5 races this season, all on road courses. But what's more impressive is how he reads the track, the tires, and the moment. While other drivers struggle to adjust, SVG thrives. He doesn't just drive fast, he manages wear, controls pace, and times his moves with precision. That's what separates him in this new era. So how much credit goes to Goodyear? Are they adjusting their compounds deliberately to fix the product, or is this just a happy accident? According to insiders, the company has been working closely with NASCAR and teams to analyze performance, fall-off, and safety. The risk with higher degradation is obvious. Push too far, and you risk blowouts or dangerous failures. But so far, Goodyear seems to be finding a balance. The Charlotte Roval might be the best example yet. With no stage breaks, strategy played out over long runs. Drivers couldn't rely on restarts to gain spots. They had to earn it. The result? The most organic, fluid road race in the next-gen era. Some are now calling it one of the best Roval races we've seen. Still, there are questions. Should the Roval remain a playoff race? Does the next-gen car suit this kind of track? While this year's event delivered, past races haven't always done the same. Some argue that the Roval's place on the calendar should be re-evaluated, especially as the sport figures out how to balance road courses, short tracks, and intermediates with the current car setup. Meanwhile, the playoff picture is tighter than ever. After the Roval, Denny Hamlin leads the round of 8 by just 8 points above the elimination line. Only 24 points separate the top drivers. That means every stage, every pit stop, every tire choice will carry even more weight. The smallest miscue could cost someone a shot at the championship. As the series heads into the round of 8, the spotlight remains on Las Vegas. Will Goodyear bring another high fall-off tire? Will strategy dictate the outcome again? If so, we could be in for another wild finish. For drivers like Larson and Bell, who have shown strength with tire management, the shift could be an advantage. For others, it could expose weaknesses. This new tire dynamic is more than just a compound tweak. It's reshaping the narrative of the season. Earlier this year, the story was about how broken things felt. Races lacked energy, but now, thanks in large part to tire wear, every lap feels uncertain again. That tension, that unpredictability, is what makes NASCAR great. Goodyear might not get the headlines, but they're writing the script behind the scenes. By reintroducing fall-off, they've brought strategy, drama, and emotion back into the spotlight. Whether it was intentional or not, their adjustments have reignited the season. So, as we enter the most crucial stretch of the playoffs, one thing is clear: the racing is better, the stakes are higher. And for the first time in months, fans are talking about the action on the track, not what's missing from it. That's not just a win for NASCAR, it's a tire-driven comeback story, and Goodyear's right in the middle of it.
Can you do some more racing next year?
Yeah, we're planning on coming back.
Part-time?
Yeah, part-time.
Cleetus McFarland is about to shock the racing world. The YouTuber who made his name with wild burnouts and crazy car stunts is stepping back into real competition. In 2026, he's returning to the track, chasing a dream that many thought was impossible. The question is, Can an internet star actually fight his way to the top levels of NASCAR? Cleetus, whose real name is Garrett Mitchell, first got famous on YouTube. He built his brand with wild car builds, crazy stunts, and loud horsepower that drew millions of viewers. His fun style and love for racing made him one of the biggest automotive creators online. Unlike many others, he always wanted to take his passion from the garage to the racetrack, which pushed him into professional racing. His first major step came in ARCA, the series often seen as a gateway into NASCAR. In 2023, he made headlines when he attempted his first short track start at Bristol. For anyone who has followed Bristol, they know it is not the place for beginners. It's a half-mile bullring where even veterans get humbled. Cleetus qualified 27th and managed to run only 61 of the 200 scheduled laps. A right front tire failure sent him into the wall and ended his night early. He was open about the disappointment, but also about what he had learned. The challenges of managing the car, tire wear, and traffic on such a small and intense circuit gave him an immediate education in what racing at this level really requires. That debut was far from glamorous, but it didn't scare him off. In fact, it set the stage for what came next. Over the following seasons, Cleetus continued to chase ARCA starts, particularly at the super speedways. By 2025, he had entered 4 different ARCA races. These included major stops at Daytona, Talladega, Charlotte, and of course, Bristol once again. This time, the results were far more promising. He managed to earn 2 top 10 finishes, including a strong run at Talladega and another at Charlotte. Those results turned some heads in the garage because few expected a YouTuber to hang inside the top 10 against serious competition. Still, Cleetus remained his usual self in interviews, admitting that he got his butt kicked plenty of times along the way. He pointed out that racing is unforgiving, and he had to respect the craft, the preparation, and the years of experience his competitors had. Instead of getting discouraged, he treated every setback as another lesson, something that his fans resonated with. They weren't just watching a creator throw himself into racing for views, they were watching him grow as a driver.
All right. Reactions to first ARCA Bristol race.
I got my butt kicked, man.
Then came the announcement in September 2025. Standing on pit road at Bristol, the very same track where he made his rough debut, Cleetus confirmed that he will return in 2026 for a part-time ARCA schedule. This wasn't a vague tease. His team owner at Retta Jones Racing explained that they're lining up somewhere between 8 to 10 ARCA races for the season, along with additional super late model starts. That's a significant commitment and shows this isn't just about dabbling anymore, it's about building consistency and proving he can belong in the racing world. The plan for 2026 is important for 2 reasons. First, it gives Cleetus the chance to log more laps, more experience, and more time with his crew. In motorsports, repetition and familiarity are everything. Second, it positions him for his bigger long-term goal, which he has not been shy about. He has said he wants to compete in the Daytona 500, possibly by 2027 or 2028. That's one of the most ambitious jumps imaginable, but he is setting the groundwork to at least make it a possibility. Of course, that dream comes with plenty of speculation and rumors. Earlier this year, chatter began spreading that Cleetus might be involved in NASCAR's Truck Series, with whispers about possible manufacturer backing, particularly from Ram. The rumor mill spun fast, with some people even suggesting a path that would take him directly into NASCAR's National Series. However, Ram's CEO was quick to deny any involvement, putting a stop to that storyline. For now, the focus remains on ARCA, but the fact that these kinds of rumors even exist shows how much excitement Cleetus has generated. The road ahead won't be simple. Racing costs a lot, and even with fans and sponsors, it's tough to fund. On top of that, some people doubt him. Supporters cheer him on, but critics say he doesn't belong or is taking a spot from another driver. That mix of doubt and support is what makes his story so compelling. Despite the doubts, there's no denying the cultural impact. Cleetus brings an entirely new audience to the track. His millions of subscribers follow him because of his entertaining content, and many of them had never watched a NASCAR race before. By stepping into ARCA and potentially beyond, he bridges the gap between digital entertainment and traditional motorsports. NASCAR has been trying to capture younger audiences for years, and a personality like Cleetus does exactly that. He creates a storyline that resonates both online and at the track. 2026 will be his real test. He has around 10 ARCA starts lined up, facing super speedways, intermediates, and short tracks. Each track type will push a different skill, and he needs to show he can handle them all. His late model runs will also sharpen him on smaller circuits, Every lap will matter, with fans, sponsors, and teams all watching to see if he's a racer or just a YouTuber. At the same time, he'll still need to juggle his growing brand with life at the track.